सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति भागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। We're on page 7. We'll read the page page 6 actually. We were in the last verse. We'll just read the verse number 11 on the page 6. तदेते श्लोका भवन्ति स्वप्नेन शारीरमभिप्रहृत्य सुप्तस्सुप्तानपि चाकशीति शुक्रमादाय पुनरैति स्थानम् हिरण्मयः पुरुष एकहंसः. So the dream state is being described here, and the reason for the dream state is to establish the Swam Jyotishvam, that Atma, the self, is self-effulgent, that it is the light of Atma that illumines everything. And for that, the example of dream is given here, because there it will become very clear to us that what illumines the dream world, because all the external luminaries like sun and moon, etc., are not available there. As we say, the sun or the moon that we see in the dream are creations of our own mind, but they're not real sun and the moon, real luminaries. And still you find that the dream world also is illumined, meaning there also the vyavahara or the transaction takes place as it does in the waking state. He was asked there, the person sits in his home, karma kurute, performs various chores, he goes out, again performs chores, returns home. So thus in dream also we find the person performing similar activities as in the waking state. And therefore, the point is, what is it that enables him to perform all those chores, all those duties, all the vyavahara? What illumines the transactions or the activities going on in the dream state, where these conventional luminaries are not present, and still you find that the dream world also is illumined. So what is that Jyoti? What is that light that illumines the dream world? And the example of dream is taken to establish the self-effulgence of Atma, because it's only light that is available in the dream. The light available is that of Atma or the consciousness, and that illumines the dream world, meaning that also illumines the waking world. That alone is the illuminator. Upanishad says, Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam. When that shines, when the Atma shines, the consciousness shines, everything shines in the light of consciousness. Tasya Vasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. All of this shines in the light of that consciousness. So, to establish the self effulgence of the Atma, the Atma does not require any other light to illumine that, and that is the light that illumines everything. For that, the example of dream is taken, because that self effulgence will become very clear. So, in the waking state, there are other luminaries also, such as the sun and the moon, and therefore it may not be very clear which one illumines the dream world, I mean, waking world, but in the dream world, they are not there. So, to make it very clear that the only one that shines and illumines everything is Atma, the consciousness. Therefore, a very detailed discussion of the dream also is taken up here in this Upanishad. Tadete shloka bhavanti, and describing a dream world, the Upanishad says that these are the shlokas or verses or mantras that are there. We do not know the source of these mantras, but they are quoted. It may be some place which is not maybe available to us right now, but these mantras are there which describe the dream world. Swapnena shairam abhiprahatya asuptaha. So the dreamer, the Atma, does not sleep in the dream world. Asuptaha, he himself remaining non-sleeping, means awake. Shariram, or Shariram Shariram, abhiprahatya. He puts this body aside. In the dream world, the waking body is put aside, made unconscious, and a new dream body is created. And with that body, then the dream transactions are going on. That time, all the sense organs of action, sense organs of perception, the body, everything is created for purpose of dream. After the dream is over, then again he comes back to the waking state. Now, some more verses are also given. Verse number 12, now on the page 7. Pranena rakshannavaram kulayam bahishkulayadamritascharitva sa iyate mrito yatra kamam हिरण्मयः पुरुष एकहंसः. Hiranmaya Purusha Ekhamsa. That's a refrain. In the last verse, this verse also. The Ekhamsa, one that goes alone. Hanti iti Hamsaha, the one who goes alone. Purusha, the Paramatma, the limitless one. Hiranmaya, the very shining one. So shining, self-effulgent consciousness, that is the Atma. And that goes alone, meaning that does not require anything else to illumine or to support it. It is self-existing, doesn't require for it anything to exist. Self-shining does not require anything else to illumine that. Self-sufficient doesn't require anything to make it complete. It is self-existing, self-shining and complete in itself. So now when he sees it, experiences a dream world, the body that is in the dream is not this waking body. As I said, that this one, the self, makes the waking body unconscious and creates a new body for the dream. However, this body continues to remain alive so that when the dream experience comes to an end, he comes back again to this body. Meaning that even though this body is not used in the dream experience, the body is protected anyway, it is kept alive. This body is not good for experiencing dream objects, as you say, because dream world is a different kind of a realm, is a subtle realm. The objects also are subtle, meaning the creation of the mind, and therefore, to experience those objects in the dream, you require a body appropriate for that. Just as when you go to heaven, this body is not adequate. You require a new body to experience the objects of heaven. So also, to experience the objects of dream, you require a body which is compatible to those experiences. Therefore, a new body is created for the dream. This waking body then becomes motionless, doesn't become lifeless, but it just lies there, still breathing. Thus, it is protected all right, so that after the completion of the dream experience, the Atma again comes to this body and performs its waking vyavahara. So, pranayana rakshan, avayam kulayam, avaram kulayam. This body is called an inferior need. After all, they don't have much respect for this body as such, because it is like it stores all kinds of unclean or miserable things like the urine and whatnot. So this body is not highly respected. As far as the Atma, which is pure and of the nature of happiness is concerned, naturally this body is extremely inferior in that sense. Not that there is intention of condemning this body, but the reason why the body is called inferior is to help us understand, make us understand there is something superior to this body. That this body is not everything in our life. There is something much more than that, something much superior to that, and therefore we should know and therefore give up the identification of the body and then create an identification with that which is higher, which is much more superior. For that purpose, this body is called an inferior body. It is as the condemned, but only to something is condemned to praise something else. So idea of perhaps looking down upon this body is to praise the Atma. Bahishkulayat amrutah charitva. He preserves the unclean body and roams out of the nest. Roams out of this body. Iyate amrutah yatra kamam. He goes wherever he wants. A kamam means as he wishes. So this Atma, leaving this body here, goes out of the body wherever he wants and gains whatever experiences he wants. Last night, for example, I was dreaming about, I don't know, Canada. Then I met people there and went to different places, and so I went out there. When a fellow is in Canada, he maybe dreams of Rishikesh. So it looks like in the dream we go to various places and gain various experiences, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant. because we don't have control over what we will experience, but certainly we do experience various things in a dream. So this is one way of looking at dream, as though I go out to that realm and gain various experiences. Atma does not go out. Dream world also is within, but the way you feel when you are experiencing dream is as though you are in a different realm, you are in a different place. So from that standpoint, it is said here that this person leaves his body here, inferior body here, and goes out wherever he wants. There is no intention to say that Atma goes out. He creates his own world, but the way the experience is, or the way we feel is that we go out in the state of dream to a desired place and gain desired experiences. So he goes wherever he likes, experiences whatever he wants, depending upon his karma. So really, I experience not always very pleasant things, but I guess that is the time. That time I want to experience that. Later I feel that I would not want to experience something unpleasant, but maybe in the dream that is what I wanted, and that's what I experience. So whatever I want, I experience in the dream state. Basically, what it means is that whatever karma is responsible for the dream state, whatever experiences are the result of our karma, those experiences take place. And this is then when the dream is over, he as though comes back to this world or comes back to his body. Next verse says, on the same page, Swapnanta Uchavachamiyamana Rupani Deva Kurute Bahuni Uteva Strivis Hamodamana Jakshadute Vapi Bhayani Pashyan. Swapnanta in the dream. Not at the end of the dream, but when he is in the dream, Uchavacham Yaman Uchavacham Rupani Devaha Bahuni Kurute. This Deva Atma Kurute creates Rupani many forms, Uchavacha superior and inferior. I don't remember my dream, but they say sometimes a person becomes an animal in the dream. I don't know if everybody has experience like that. You become a devata in the dream. You become an animal in the dream. You become a variety of things in the dream, which is what I read, but I have no experience. I don't remember much dream anyway, but still, I don't remember I became a camel in dream. I became buffalo in the dream. Inferior forms. I became a flying devata in the dream. I have no such experience or no such memory. But this is what is said, that in the dream, the self assumes various forms. Uchavacham, superior, he can become devatas and things like that. Inferior, he can become animals, etc. And what determines that is his karma. It is karma that determines what kind of bodies he will get in the dream and what kind of experiences he will have. All this is academic for us, but right now the Upanishad seems to be intent upon describing dream in a great detail, because dream is taken for establishing the self-effulgence of Atma. That we have said a number of times. Atma is self-effulgent. In the waking, dream, deep sleep, anywhere, any state. But in the dream state, it becomes easier to establish the self-effulgence of Atma because there is no other luminary there, and that is why the dream state here is described in great detail. स्वप्नांत उच्चावचम ईयमानः रूपाणि देहः कुरुते बहूनि. In the dream world, the shining one, modamana jakshatu devapi bhayani pashyan. Deva means the effulgent one, the shining one, attaining higher and lower states. Uchchavacham iyamanaha. Uccha, higher, avacha, lower. And so attaining higher and lower forms in the dream, this devata, or the self-effulgent atma, kurute bahuni rupani, and thus put forth many forms. As I said, I don't know whether I go through many forms in a dream or not, but that is what is traditionally said. Some of you may have those experiences. I don't know. You can relate to them in the evening. If you had some experience in a dream where you assume some different kind of forms, somebody in the dream became a devata. You need not say other things. But if you become better, superior things, you can say that. Modamana. The dream, he seems to be enjoying himself. Stribihi saha, with women. No, this is a standard thing. I guess enjoying means with women. Who knows? But anyway. So, and we assume also that this is a description of a man going to the dream, but that same thing would apply to a woman also. Usually, we imagine that this teaching is imparted to the disciples who are largely men, who would go to that forest. So women would not go. Those days where the teachers were living, were in the remote areas, in forests, and you had to literally leave your home and leave everything here in Puja Swami's word, burn all your boats and go, not to come back. Therefore, going to teacher means they take sannyasa and go wherever the teacher is and stay with him, serve him, and learn from him. So, therefore, it is the male disciples that are being told. So, they are saying, Stribihi modamanaha. This person in the dream experiences pleasures with women, but the other thing, the reverse also would apply. Jakshat, laughing, etc., with friends and relatives. Evapi bhayani pashyan is not that he only has pleasant experience in a dream. Bhayani pashyam, he sees frightful things also in the dream. A similar description is found in Chandogya Upanishad also in the 8th chapter, etc. So, in pleasant and unpleasant experiences, a person goes through in the dream states. And now we go to the verse number 14. The first line of this verse is the conclusion of the verses that the Upanishad is quoting. आरामवस्य पश्यन्ते न तं पश्यति कश्चन इति. So it is unquote, meaning these verses are quoted with iti aramam asya pashyanti natam pashyanti kaschana iti. Aram means sport or whatever vyavahara, whatever transactions or interactions and experiences he has, that is what everybody sees. The verse says that everybody sees whatever kind of experiences the dreamer goes through in the dream. Natam pashyati kaschaneti, but nobody sees him. Nobody recognizes that he is Atma who is going through all these various experiences, all everybody sees is the kind of form that the dreamer takes and kind of experiences that the dreamer has, and that is all people see. And naturally, that is what we can see with our organs of perception. We can only see tangible forms. Atma cannot be perceived with sense organs anyway, therefore, it is not possible that we see Atma. So, how do you see Atma? Just off the, this question. How do you see Atma? How do you see yourself? Huh? Not something to be seen, then what? Experience Atma? What is self knowledge? Knowing the self. Either seeing the self, Atma vare drashtavya. This Upanishad itself says, Atma vare drashtavya. Atma must be seen, hai Maitreyi. So what is that? Atma is to be seen? Who sees Atma? Atma sees Atma. No, that's not possible. One cannot see oneself because one cannot simultaneously become seer and seen, subject and all. You can't split yourself into two, into drashta and drishya, the seer and seen. But you have to see or know Atma anyway, you have to know yourself anyway. That has not come here, and I guess it is maybe I am, but this thought comes to me just to tease you, self realization, self knowledge. So it is that you see the self, experience the self. Can you see the self? No. Can you experience the self? In experience also, the experiencer and the experienced should be different. So here, just as the story of the tenth man, now you remember the tenth man story. Yes, I am the tenth man. When you was told, hey, you are the tenth man, he had realization, I am the tenth man. So what happened that time? We discussed this. What he saw the tenth man in front of him. We said only the avaranam or ignorance was gone. His notion that I am not the tenth man was gone because tenth man he was. So you are Brahman. The notion that I am not Brahman. Right now, what's my notion about myself? I am not Brahman. That being the case, I fail to see Brahman even though I am that. Just as that person failed to see the tenth man, even though he was tenth man, I fail to recognize that I am Brahman because I already concluded that Brahman is different from me. I am not Brahman. So what needs to go is this false conclusion about me. I don't have to become Brahman. And seeing Brahman is seeing the self is becoming the self. You already are. And so what is necessary is for this notion to go. That's called ignorance. Ignorance has to go. Ignorance has created this false notion that I'm such and such. And there are reasons for that. I'm born in this body. Not only I'm born in the body, but with a habit of taking the body to myself. So I'm born with ignorance and ignorance creating these false notions. I'm the body, I'm the mind, I'm so and so. So what is necessary is neti neti, all of those notions have to drop. Then I remain what I am, which I am, but on that I have added a lot of things. Upon me I have added many things. I'm a man or a woman or tall, short, great, not great, bright, not bright. All these notions, which are because of the identification with the Upadi. So thus Upanishad teaches neti, 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 not this, not this, not this. I'm a man, you are not. I'm a woman, you are not. I'm smart, you are not. I'm dull, you are not. Whatever I say, not. Meaning that the notions arising from identification, you are not. So this is a process of letting go of the false notions that have arisen in me on account of natural identification with this body, mind, complex. So ignorance has created these notions, and dispelling ignorance means recognizing these as notions and letting them go. That is, by the way, aramam asti pashyanti natam pashyanti kaschaniti. Everybody sees the sport of this Atma, but nobody sees the Atma. So this is iti means the unquote. Various verses have been quoted here in support of the description of the dream world. Now, some incidental things that are being told here. So if you read further, tam nayatam bodhayet ityahu durvishadyam ha asmai bhavati yameshaha na pratipadyate. This is said, by the way, natam ayatam bodhayet. So don't wake him up suddenly. When a person is fast asleep, it says, this Upanishad quotes some people saying this. They say that the sleeping man should not be woken up suddenly. Here the process is not described, but apparently in the waking state, I am in my all sense organs. This is where I abide so that I have the experiences of the sense objects. Then in the dream, I withdraw myself and supposedly go in some very fine nerves called hita nadi. That is where I am near in this neck region in the dream state. In deep sleep, again I withdraw myself and go to the heart. So I will travel through very fine nerves through these passages from here to there to the heart. So if you wake up this person suddenly, then he may not come back to the same passage. The idea is that some travel is involved here, as they describe. That the waker is generally residing here in the extremities of the sense organs so that he can perceive the sense world. In the dream, he withdraws himself and goes to the region around neck in some very fine nerves called the hita anadya. And in deep sleep, he further withdraws himself and goes to the heart. This is for our general information right now. But the point is, when it says here that you should not wake him up suddenly, because for waking up, he has to travel back from the heart to this and the fine nerves and then to the extremities of our sense organs. Therefore, the waking process also should take place in its own way. If we suddenly wake him up, then maybe he may not return to the same passages and he may get lost someplace. Sometimes they say he may become blind or something like that. I don't know. But these things that are said about suddenly waking up a fast asleep person. So he says, it is said here, tam na ayatam bodhet ityahuhu. Ayatam means suddenly. They say that you should not wake up the man who is fast asleep, do not wake him up suddenly. Durvishajyam asmai bhavati yamesha na pratipadyate. See the translation, because if it does not find the right organ, the body becomes difficult to doctor. Meaning, if it does not find the right passage to return into the waking state, and then he gets lost in some place in all these nadis, etc., it may be very difficult to treat him. So this is said by the way. It is uh, because they are discussing the dream state, etc. This is they are giving us information about the dream that is available from different sources. That is not the main topic here. Main topic is a dream and the self-experiencing dream, and that is where Atrayava I am Purusha Swayam Jyotir Bhavati. In the dream, he is self-effulgent. So the illustration of dream is given to establish the self-effulgence of the self. Further, we read the passage. Atho khalu ahu jagradesha eva asya eshaha iti yani hyeva jagat pashyati tani suptaha iti. About the dream, various opinions prevail, and one opinion is stated here that in the dream also he sees the same objects that he sees in the waking. Meaning that in the dream, if you see a horse, it's a waking horse that he sees. Horse is an example of whatever it is that you experience in dream, that waking objects, this is an opinion that some people have, which is not accepted by the Upanishad. It's stated here. So some people think that in the dream also you see the objects that you see are waking objects. In dream also, if you see a dog, it's a waking dog that you see. A real dog you see in the dream, and real, I don't know, Ganges you see in the dream. This is an opinion. These are some of the opinions that are discussed in the Mandukya Karika. The dream also, and then those opinions are taken and then dismissed and then established. A dream is purely a projection of the mind. Dream experience takes place in a very fine nerve, and that is where the mind projects the dream world. And that to establish a dream is mithya, the Karikakara says that in the dream you see elephants and you see mountains, etc., and there's no room for those things. Where the dream experience takes place are very fine nerves, and there is no room for a mountain, an elephant, etc., which means that there is simply a projection or it's unreal. To establish the mithyatvam of the dream, it is established, shown how the dream objects are not real. They are simply projections of the mind. So if you see Ganges in the dream, it is not this Ganges, it is the one that is projected by the mind. But here an opinion is stated. Some people feel that in the dream also you see the same objects that are there in the waking, which is not the right opinion. Now the discussion is concluded here by the statement Atrayam Purushaha Swayam Jyotirbhavati Soham Bhagavate Sahasram Dadami At Urdhvam Vimokshaya Bruhi Iti. Atrayam Purushaha Swayam Jyotirbhavati. Atra, in the dream state, this Purusha, the Atma, becomes self-effulgent, meaning that it is the effulgence of the Atma that what illumines the dream, and therefore the dream experience establishes that Atma is self-effulgent. But King Janaka is not quite satisfied with this much Upadesha. So that we'll see tomorrow. But it says, Soham Bhagavate Sahasram Dadami. To Venerable Sir, I'm offering 1,000 cows. Sahasra means 1,000, that means 1,000 cows here. To the Venerable Sir, I'm offering 1,000 cows. I mean, how many cows King Janaka had, I don't know. But every time he gives some offer 1,000 cows. How will Yajnavalkya take all those cows and where will he put them? I don't know anyway. But I shouldn't say this really because that is disrespecting the Upanishad. And I think the Swamis may not appreciate this kind of comments of mine. But sometimes I wonder because this Ramcharitmanas, so the person was talking about the Ramayana, which is written in Hindi, or even Ramayana in Sanskrit or Valmiki Ramayana. So they also describe like this, that King Janaka offered Dasharatha the some million cows and this. So I count, where million cows will actually stand. I think they don't have that amount of the big country, for them to stand. But this is how I think. I'm not supposed to think that way. We are supposed to accept them, with respect. And so some of this thinking is no good. The thinking I state before you is not right. That is not respectful thinking. So, but here it says, so Sahasram Dadami, King Janaka says that in return for the Upadesha that you have given me, I offer you 1,000 cows. He has been offering 1,000. This is additional 1,000. But still, the Upadesha that you have given me is not adequate for moksha. Ato urdhvam vimokshaya bruhiti. Further, please tell me the means of moksha. Meaning the Upadesha that you have given is not quite adequate for attaining moksha. Therefore, you please tell me further. So thus he keeps on extracting from Yajnavalkya more and more. And the point will come when Yajnavalkya thinks that, hey, this fellow will take away everything that I have. But this is how the dialogue goes on, and we'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.